Come on in, everyone. Come on in because we are back for Ready to Love. And we're on episode 11, y'all. Episode 11. And we down to the final four. March Madness. Final four. Who you got in your brackets? The final four ladies. Mika, Maya, Vanessa, and Patrice. That's the final four. Didn't nobody get sent home this week. And according to them previews, and what we saw happen this week between Maya and Lyron, looks like Maya and Lyron not going to even make it to the bridge. They're not going to even make it to the bridge, and Patrice going to have her pick of the litter between Chaz and Alonzo. We're going to really get into this, y'all, about why Patrice all of a sudden has taken such a liking to Chaz. A lot to talk about, y'all. A lot to unpack in this crazy, crazy episode. But it was Meet the Family week. I do want to say when I get to them, I'm going to get to them in a minute. But Mika and Justin put a smile on my face. I love to see it. I'm so happy Mika is smiling. I'm so happy to see that she has torn that brick wall down a little bit. It's still up, but at least she can peek over it. Before, the brick wall was 15 feet tall. Now the brick wall is about 6 feet, so she can stand on her tippy toes and at least she can look over. And maybe she gonna drill a hole with, okay, Justin, peek through the hole. Happy to see it, Mika. Happy to see it. Happy to see her smiling. We always said that Mika was a beautiful lady, but when she smiles, she's actually even more beautiful. But we're going to talk about that. But I was trying to figure out who I'm going to start with first. And do I start with Mika and Justin first? Because that was kind of like the good part of the whole season for me, or not season, the episode. I'm looking at my notes. I'm trying to figure out who I'm going to start with first. But you know what? I think I'm going to start with Lyron and Maya first because that's what my thumbnail says. So let's start with them first. And it really ain't a happy occasion, y'all. Even though I saw it coming. It just ain't a happy occasion. You know, even though you know something's coming, when it finally gets there, it doesn't mean that you happy to see it. We knew there was going to be a blow up between these two. Okay. Well, let me not say we did. I'm going to say I did because I don't know what y'all knew. I knew it was going to be a blow up because I knew the dynamics that were going on with Maya and Lyron. And we knew that Lyron was unhinged. The question is, why didn't Maya know it? I mean, Maya had not only the evidence we had, she had even more. Because remember, the only evidence we have about Lyron is what we see on the screen. But Maya had access to even more data. Where's Chaz, the data analyst, the one who gets caught in the data, who can't decide, who can't move forward with a plan because he needs more data. The data analyst. I'm going to get to Chaz too. Analysis paralysis. Chaz, we both STEM majors. We both into data, but there's a point in time where you have to move past the data and you have to move into implementation. But we're going to get to that. But I think this week I'm going to speak Chaz's language. Chaz, I'm going to speak your language this week. STEM to STEM. But anyway, let me get back to Maya and Lyron. You know, I don't know why Maya didn't see it coming. But on the other hand, Maya's in her same pattern. One thing we learned about Maya this week was that she's been here before. Sounds like Maya's had some men in the past that have been abusive, either verbally. I don't know if there's any other type of abuse, maybe mentally, maybe physically. I don't know, but we definitely know it's been verbally because she sort of alluded to it. And we definitely know that Lyron is verbally abusive. okay, because we've seen it already. LaRon has verbally abused two different people that we already know of on this show. And he's done it on the camera. And he's done it, and Maya was actually present for all of them. She can't even say she didn't see it. Because the first verbal assault that LaRon did was on Koshia, when he was out of control talking to Koshia. Right? Now, although I wasn't a fan of Koshia, the amount of energy that LaRon brought to that conversation was out of control and unnecessary. Okay? And Maya was present for it. Because if y'all remember, when they were sitting at that dinner table and LaRon was going off on Koshia and Koshia started crying, and Chaz, Captain Save-A-Hole, stepped in so that he could look good, Maya heard it and saw it and then walked over to the table. And then that's when LaRon actually then went over and started hugging Maya, because Maya stepped in. Maya saw it and heard it then. And if she didn't see it in that moment, she heard about it. She knew about it. She knew about the blow up. She knew that LaRon was involved in a blow up, a verbal blow up confrontation with Koshia. She knew it. She saw it. That's her first piece of evidence. That right there, to be honest with you, should have been enough. That should have been enough. But it wasn't enough. In fact, what she did was, after Koshia was out of the picture, instead of her running away from LaRon, she actually started to move closer to LaRon. She actually gave him more access to her. Because remember, she was still talking to William. LaRon is a whole fool. LaRon has problems. LaRon is disturbed. When LaRon then went on the attack and verbally abused William, okay, went off on William, Maya was present for that as well. What did Maya do with that information then? She didn't move away from LaRon. In fact, she allowed that outburst of LaRon to actually pull her away even more from William. Now, what is the lure? I know a lot of you got mad at me talking when I kept saying that Maya was a gold digger. A lot of you really took offense. She's not a gold digger. She's got her own money. That's not the definition of a gold digger. Ain't y'all listened to the song by Kanye West? He was talking about Kim Kardashian. She had her own money. She got a lot of money. Okay, he's talking about other women. Just because you're a gold digger doesn't mean you don't have no money. It means you're a successful gold digger, that you've hit the jackpot a couple of times, that you know how to work men for money. It's the same thing. It doesn't mean that you're broke. It doesn't mean that you don't have money. Maya places money at a higher value when she's evaluating men. I saw her ex Wes. I've got too much information to make me think otherwise. Now, if you guys want to call it something different, let's call it something different. I don't want to get stuck on the word. Okay. I use the word gold digger when someone, right, places money as the primary reason when they vet a person and they disregard all other things. That's what I call them. But if you want to call it another word, I'm all for that, because I want to get past it in the conversation, right? I want to get to an agreement or an understanding of what I'm really talking about with Maya. And that is, Maya is willing to overlook a whole lot of other things for the money. Because I said from the very beginning, LaRon's red flags were flagging. They was waving. There was a lot of information out there about LaRon, and there was no reason for Maya to even be entertaining LaRon, period. People kept saying, oh, it's because she's trying to make it towards the end. It's more than that. First of all, let me tell you another reason why I know. I told you when this was going to blow up, it was going to blow up in the club. It was going to blow up in the club because really what this is all about is about the same old thing. It's about the same old thing, being in the club, getting free drinks. Why is there a first date? Why is there a first date in the club? It's a horrible date to go on, ladies. And we got another woman going outside of the walls of protection. I just did a whole video on this about Vanessa and Chaz. Dating outside the walls of protection for the show. Don't date outside the show. What makes people just want to keep doing it? That's fine. And then you pick a club. You go to a club. First of all, let me backtrack and give a little bit of lesson. If you're just getting to know someone, a romantic interest, let's just say they really were trying to get to know each other, which I know it wasn't. The club is the last place you want to go with a man you're getting to know or a woman you're getting to know. First of all, you can't really do no real talk, and the club is too loud. You're not really getting to know people too much. It's all about partying. It's all about drinking. Okay. And the club also is a place where a lot of things can go wrong. A lot of things can go wrong. It's not the place to have a good first date. You really shouldn't be going to no club with no person until that you're really interested in, until after you've developed a level of trust, because too many things happen in a club. Too much flirting, too much drinking. Men can flirt with the women. Women can flirt with the men. You don't have a level of trust. You don't understand people's boundaries. You don't understand the persons you're with boundaries. You don't know how you're being perceived. None of it. It's a horrible place to go when you don't have trust in a relationship. To go to a club, you need to have trust. Look at married couples. A man says, I'm about to go out to a club tonight. Does a woman want him to go? Even in married couples, there are issues surrounding women and men going to clubs because it drums up trust issues. So if you're a new couple and you're getting to know each other and you're dating or you're just starting to date, why the hell would you go to a club? A club is not a place where people go when they haven't developed any trust. It's a place where you go to, you can break trust. So the fact that these two decide they're going to go to a club together tells me even more so what it's all about. Lyron, who likes to drink, who I told you from the very beginning has a drinking problem because I could see the alcohol coming out his pores from episode 1. He's inflamed. He's puffy. He drinks too much. He's in the lounge 6 days a week drinking. Okay? This is nothing new. I saw it from episode 1. Maya had to have seen it. She had to have seen it. Or does she turn a blind eye to it for what? Y'all think it's just so she can win the game, so she can make it to the bridge? No, it's the pattern that Maya has. Okay? She picks men based on money. A lot of people would say, why she even with LaRon? Because LaRon's not on her level in terms of looks, in terms of style, in terms of all these things, because that's not number one in Maya's book anymore. Maybe when Maya first started off, she wanted the fine guy with a good body with a lot of money. That might be what she wanted. With no kids. That's what she wanted. I know what Maya wants deep down inside. She wants the good looking man with a nice body, okay, who has money, who treats her well, and who likes to go out and have a good time. That's who she wants with no kids. That's really what Maya wants. But over the years, she's figured out I can't find that in one person. So then she says, I'll settle for a man with kids, because you know what thing she doesn't take off her list? She doesn't take off the money. When you look at that list, I just said, tall, no kids, makes money, is good looking, good body, and likes to go out. When she realizes that's hard to find, and she starts saying the things that she will accept. Did y'all notice that of all those things I listed, the ones she's willing to discard, looks, because LaRon ain't that much of a looker. So she's definitely discarded that. She's willing to compromise on that. She's willing to compromise on the no kids thing because she's told us this whole season long that she would rather a person with no kids, but she's willing to accept it. So she's willing to compromise on the height. She's willing to compromise on the looks. She's willing to compromise on the no kids thing. We find out that now we look and we say, well, what isn't that she isn't willing to compromise on? You know what she's not willing to compromise on? The money. So now she's down to LaRon, and you say, what is it that LaRon offers? The money. And he ain't even rich, but what he does is he has enough disposable income to spend on Maya. That's why they're in the club. That's why they're drinking top shelf. That's why they're there. And Maya is a victim of a lot of these men because men know, they figured it out. They know what's going on. And I said with LaRon that LaRon was happy to be in the company of Maya because Maya is beautiful. He feels as if he's coming up. But ain't nothing free in life, ladies. A man buying you drinks like the Lyron, it ain't for free. And like Maya said, he sure exerted a whole lot of ownership on me so soon, so fast. Yeah, because according to him, you bought and paid for. Should he think that way, that just because he bought you a couple of drinks, he owns you? No, no one should think that way. But you had enough history on Lyron to know what was going on. See, everybody thinks Lyron is a mark because I know what he does. He goes out to the club, he's drinking because he likes to drink, and he's buying you drinks too. Who wouldn't want to go out to a club with an alcoholic who likes to drink? Because you know the drink's going to keep flowing. And that's where Maya wanted to go, to the club where she knew people and she's running into people she knows. Another reason why you shouldn't be going to no club on a first date. So what? Forget about Lyron. Let's just imagine it was a whole nother person. Ladies, do not go to a club with a man you first met that you actually think there might be you actually might want a relationship with that man. It's just so many bad things about it. Too many men come up to you. He's going to think, oh, she's in the club all the time. She knows too many people. It ain't going to look good for you. He is going to put you in a category. He's going to put you in a category. You go to a club and you know too many people at that club. I'm going to tell you right now, that man is going to put you in a category, and that category ain't going to be the category you want to see. It ain't going to be a category you want to be in. There's no good things that come from it, ladies. None whatsoever. Don't do it. Turn it down. Don't go. Now, this story they tell on this date, this story about, she's all hugged up with a guy. And then Maya says, all I did was talk to a guy that I knew at the club and came over and said something to me. I think it lies somewhere in the middle. My suspicion, the way it went down, is you had Maya and LaRon talking or in the same vicinity because they at the club, they drinking, they getting lit, they getting turned up. Maya's dancing, she's having a good time. I imagine a man in the club that Maya knew, because Maya likes to go out to the club too, walked over, saw Maya, they greeted, she hugged him. Seems normal. She hugged him, he hugged her, right? And what I imagine is Maya didn't introduce that man to LaRon. That's what I imagine. So imagine you're standing, LaRon does sit over here and bought some gold azul. He done spent a lot of money to get in the club. He done spent a lot of money on this date. And who knows how many times they've already been out at this time. No one said this was the first date in the club. Who knows? Maybe this is now the third night out in a club, and LaRon has already dropped at least $1,000 in 3 nights on alcohol. That's easy to do, especially when you with alcohol. And now here we are on the third night or the third date or whatever the case may be, whether it's the first or the third. And you mean to tell me this Negro walks over here to me and you don't even have the courtesy to introduce me to him? That's what I believe happened. And then that's when I believe that LaRon went off. Because in his eyes, hugged up means you gave this man a hug, a 2 hug. Because there's variations of hugs too. A 1-arm hug, the church hug, a 2-arm hug. And then there's the lingering conversation after a hug. That's what really gets people, the lingering conversation. You don't just greet the man that came over and you give him a hug and say hello, but the lingering conversation and then the failure to introduce that man to Lyron. Who am I, chopped liver? Who am I, a simp? You think I'm going to pay for all these drinks, but then you're going to spend time talking to this brother? That's what I believe happened. Because in the end, that's what I believe how it goes down. That's why I said, stay out the clubs. Stay out the clubs if you really want to date a person. Now, on Maya's point, she doesn't really like Lyron. Like I said, I know what Maya was here for, the free drinks. The free drinks. I just thought they would make it to the bridge. But come to find out, they didn't even make it out the club. They barely made it out the parking lot. What a mess. What a mess. Lyron needs counseling. Lyron needs therapy. Okay. He's got anger issues. He's got a lot of whole emotional issues going on. But I'm going to say this about Maya as well. She also needs counseling because Maya has been here before. And I want Maya to see that getting here isn't just because of the men. Getting here is because it's also a pathway she's chosen for herself. There are no other qualities besides like being in the club, dancing and drinking, why Maya should have been with Lyron. No other reasons. Accept the fact that LaRon has told us that he lives off half his paycheck. And he already says he makes about $120,000, almost $150,000, and that his bills are only one paycheck. Okay? Only one paycheck. He can pay all his bills, okay, with one paycheck. So if he's making $10,000 a month, he says all his bills add up to about $5,000. That leaves another $5,000 every single month to spend on alcohol, going out, dinners, and a good time. And that right there lit up the eyes of Maya. It lit up the eyes. It's the reason why she left William, because William was on FMLA, LOA. She left him. No disposable income to take her to the club. LaRon had the money to take her to the club, and it blew up. It blew up in her face. But I saw it coming. Many of you saw it coming. So at this point in time, the next steps are on Maya. They're on Maya. It's not about matching her with no men. It's not about none of that. It's about her making different decisions for her life. And until she decides she's going to stop going out with men simply because they can offer her a few material things or put some money in her pocket or supplement her income, okay, then she going to end up here all the time, because what men know is that they know that they're buying you. And once they know that they're buying you, they also know they can mistreat you. And once they know that they can mistreat you, then they also know they can talk to you any kind of way. I said earlier, okay, even though Maya says, I'm not going to deal with LaRon, I'm done with him, even though Maya called off that family date, which she should have, good for her. That's a nice little stage thing, good for her. The fact is that she was there. She already got mistreated. She can stop it. She can move on. She can cut it off, but she already got mistreated. She already got a scar on her from LaRon. You see, I would have never got no scar from LaRon. I would have not needed no apology. I would have not needed nothing to be apologized for, because I would have never been involved with LaRon. I keep saying this with women, that women they talk about how much they have to heal, how many relationships they have to heal from. But what they're not looking at is, why did you even get so close to the fire to even get burned? Stop making this relationship journey about healing. If you need so much healing, you need to come back and ask yourself, why am I getting so close to the fire? Take control over your life, ladies. Start looking at your decisions. Stop looking at what the man has done to you. Start looking at the decisions you have made to even offer that man a space in your life so he could hurt you. Please make better decisions. And I'm not talking about putting up walls like Mika was putting up walls. You can still be nice to people. You still can be kind and not give him that full access to you. There is a middle ground between a stone wall and what Maya's doing. There's a middle ground. You can be kind, you can be cordial, but you can also protect yourself so that you don't have to do all this healing. So now Maya needs an apology. She shouldn't have never been here. She should have never been here. It would be tough being with friends with Maya. It would be tough because she tell you, I met this guy, LaRon, and she start talking about him. I'm like, girl, why are you going out with him? Why are you even going to go out with him? Oh, we got things in common. We both want this. We both want that. Girl, don't go out with him. She goes out with him anyway. And then 2 weeks later, she's calling you to tell you about what he did to her, what he said to her, and how now she's disgruntled over men and now she got to heal. Ugh. Ladies, take your power back. Take your power back. Take the power back over you, not over them, not over men. Take the power back over yourself. But let's move on to something happier. Whew. I was happy to see Mika and Justin, happy to see them together. I know a lot of us are out here skeptical. Is Justin for real? Is Justin just after Mika for her body? I think it's a little bit more, y'all. I'm going to be honest. I think it's a little bit more. I see that Justin has called himself an introvert. He said he's introverted. Mika said that she's introverted as well. So the two of them seem to be, say, wanting to be maybe just single with each other. But then, Mika's a little bit concerned about the fact that Justin hasn't been in a relationship for 4 or 5 years. I don't know. I don't really find that too bad, because what he explained was that the fact that the women out here in Houston, or not Houston, where are we? Dallas, Fort Worth, they like to party a lot. And Justin said, that's not really me. I'm a school teacher. I got to be at work at 7:30 in the morning. I'm a PE teacher. I got to be, with these kids running around, getting the exercise in. I'm not in the club. I'm not Lyron in the club and drinking all the time. And so he says, no, that's not me. He says he's ready for a relationship. I really, really loved Mika's dad. Loved him. Loved the way he squared up on Justin, gave him a couple of tough answers. I'm glad that Mika had someone to bring. She didn't have the friends to bring last time. I'm happy to see that she had someone, not only just someone, she had a father there willing to stand up for her and say, listen, there's someone that you're going to be accountable to, Justin, and that's going to be me. There's someone here that's going to hold you accountable to not messing over my daughter or my friend or my sister or my whatever. I love that. Every woman needs to have some sort of male person in their life, whether it's a brother, an uncle, a father figure that stands up for you. I talked about this on Love is Blind, walking down the aisle. It's an important part. It's not just important for you to have support, to have someone that stands up for you, takes up for you. It's also need to send a message to other men. Justin said he can't remember the last time he met somebody's father. That's a problem. That's a problem. I don't know why we've gotten away from introducing men that we date to our family. Even Patrice said she hadn't introduced anyone she dated to her family for over 20 years since her ex-husband. Listen, you don't wait until you're ready to marry a man before you introduce them to your family and your friends, because your family and your friends are there to help you vet that man, to vet him before you've hired him. When you start introducing men and women to your family, once you are already in love, once you're ready to get married, then you already sold. You already signed on the dotted line. So once you introduce them, what am I here for? Just to co-sign on what you did? And then what you want me to do? Burst your bubble if I don't really like them? No. Find a better time in your dating process to introduce people you're dating to your friends and family. Should it be after 1 date or 2 days or 3 days? No, that's too soon. But when I hear somebody say they have never introduced anyone they've dated to their family for over 20 years, Patrice, she's 40 something years old, 48. She was married when she was 20 or whatever. 20 years, that's too long. Use your village. Use your village to vet people, to vet women, to vet men. Use your village. That's what they're there for. They're there to help you make some of the most important decisions in your life. You can pick and choose who your village is. You ain't got to introduce them to everybody, but you need 1 or 2 people that need to be around people that you are dating on the regular, so that other people can also see things about that person that you may not see. You need that village. So I was happy to see that. Mika introduced him to the dad. Y'all know I do a lot of, I do one-on-one counseling sessions and things like that. Maybe I need to add that to my repertoire. If you don't have anybody around to introduce your significant other to, have them give me a call. Have them give me a call. If you don't have anybody that's going to stand up for you, that's going to ask some tough questions of people that you're dating and get the answers that you need in order to really decide whether or not you want to move forward, give them Auntie Deborah's number. Have them call me, book a session. I'll talk to them. I'll ask some questions. I'll get to some bottom stuff of where they are to see if it lines up with where you're going. So, but everybody needs somebody in their corner. Everybody needs somebody to walk them down the aisle. Everybody needs someone to stand up for them and vet people who are coming into their life. Okay, everyone needs it. So I was happy to see that Mika's dad showed up and did that for her. I was happy to see the smile on Mika's face. I got a little nervous about that bridge. They did the previews on the bridge. Did y'all see that? When they're on the bridge, it was the last preview, and I think even Justin is mentioning that I could see love growing. And Mika said, I'm on the spot. She on the spot. I don't think she's going to say no in the end, but I think what she might be saying is she's in an unfamiliar territory. Mika ain't really been probably in a reciprocal love. She might have been in love, but she might have been in love with the man before, but maybe he wasn't in love with her. Or he might have been in love with her and she wasn't in love with him. I don't know if Mika's ever been in a reciprocal love, in love with the man at the same time. That's because that's a lot of people. A lot of people, they've been in love, but it wasn't mutual. And sometimes it flipped. You're in love, they're not in love, they're in love, you're not in love. And part of what I see about Mika is she doesn't trust the love process, period. It's almost as she doesn't trust being in love at the exact same time because she hasn't experienced it and she hasn't probably seen it. So she's scared of it. She's scared of the possibility and she's got that wall up. But like I talked about in my other video, we don't need walls, we need doors. Mika, replace that wall with a door. It's okay for you to slowly open the door. It's okay for you to peek through the peephole. It's okay for you to have the chain on to peek out. But get a door, Mika. Take the wall down. Call your contractors. Tell them to demolish the wall and instead put in a door. Put in a door for you. But I think the journey with Justin is worth trying to take it. I don't know where it'll land. I don't know if it'll go too far or far enough. But I see the possibility of it. I really, really see the possibility of it between Mika and Justin. And I'm happy about it. Last week when I started to see it, I said, I'm going to root for them. And this week, I'm still in the boat with them. I'm even more in the boat with them. Justin said Mika's really thoughtful. She's sweet. And in fact, remember that time when Mika had said, I'm going to put you on the shelf because my kids are number one. And I was like, dang, that made Justin want her even more. I was like that. But now you find out what Justin has said is he needs his alone time. So who knew that when Mika said, I'm going to put you on the shelf because my kids are going to be number one, who knew that was a love language for Justin? Justin was good because I like to be alone too. It was music to his ear. In fact, they started talking about not talking for how many days? I was like, what? He said, Justin said he needs a healthy amount of space. He said something about 6 to 8 months in a whole date and not talking. What? 8 months? Justin is warning Mika, I'm an introvert. I may not be out there in the streets doing a whole lot of stuff, but that also means that when we're together, you may not get a whole lot from me either. There you go. He's letting her know what the deal is. He's letting her know what the deal is. You can spend all the time you want, Mika, with your kids and with whatever else you do, because I ain't interested in spending that much time with you anyway, because I'm an introvert. And what he said is he needs a whole lot of alone time. And you know what, y'all? This actually makes me even see more why Justin might be okay with not having children. It really starts to complete the picture with me, with Justin, and not wanting to have children. And I'm actually believing his story more as I learn more about him. Because remember, he's a school teacher. He's around children all day long. It's almost like he's a father figure, a brother figure, an uncle figure to a lot of kids in school. When he comes home, he tired of kids, y'all. Not only is an introvert where he has to be engaging all day long, when he comes home from work as an introvert, I would think that he needs to recharge. And when he needs to come home and recharge, does he now still want even more kids, his own kids, in his space where he's got to give to those kids too? I could see it being a no, y'all. I could see it. I could see being with kids all day as a school teacher, being an introvert. When you get home, you're overloaded already, overstimulated by all these people you're around all day, and you need time to recharge, to be alone. You do. So do you want to then have to be turned on for another round with kids, your own kids? Mm-mm. And then you got a woman like Mika who says she's also introverted. She also doesn't need all that attention so much. And she's already told you that, hey, sometimes I'm going to put you on the shelf because my kids are most important. Justin's like, sign me up. Where do I sign up for this? Because this might be exactly what I'm looking for. I see it, y'all. The more I've learned about Justin, the more I can see it. The only part I see going wrong is where Mika starts. Will it be where Mika ends? You see, Mika came in with a wall up. And what we see now is it's peeling away. We see the glow to her. And it's just not her facials. She's glowing. Mika's glowing. Her eyes are wide. Her speech is better. She seems happy. She seems more joyful. She seems more cheerful. As she opens up and she starts to bring down this wall, Mika's actually going to start liking the feeling of being around Justin. She's going to actually like the feeling of that closeness. So what I wonder is after she starts to feel comfortable, will she start to require more time and attention from Justin? And will Justin then say, well, I don't really want to give more time because I told you I'm an introvert and I really don't like all that time. You see, one part is a real introvert versus another person who's an introvert because they put a wall up. I'm still wondering, is Mika a real introvert? And to be honest with you, I don't think she is. I don't think Mika is a real introvert. One of the reasons why I don't think Mika is a real introvert is because what I've seen about her in this episode or this series, this whole season, is Mika chimes up. She was chiming up with Koshia. When we look at these videos, these bloggers and the videos reviewing the show, Mika is oftentimes in the chat. I remember when I saw that interview with DeMonte, Mika was in the chat. Mika's very vocal. Mika's not shy. She's not quiet. She doesn't sit in the background. And so what I wonder about Mika, is she really an introvert? Mika got flued out with the man who, made her sit in the car while they got their nails and toes down. I wonder if Mika's a real introvert or if Mika just lives behind a wall. Remember, I told you about the wall. It's two different things. Some people are behind a wall not because they're an introvert, it's because they're scared. But really, they do want to go outside and play. They really want to play in them streets, but they're not in the streets because they got burned in them streets and now they're scared. But the minute they get in a nice neighborhood, they'll be like, oh, it's so fun to be able to play outside, because really they like to be outside. I believe Mika likes to be outside, but I think that she's an introvert. And I think the introverted side of her has been more pronounced because what she is she's afraid of relationships because she's been burned by them. But I think Mika's an outside girl. So as she becomes more comfortable with Justin and he breaks down those walls and more of the real Mika starts coming out, I wonder if that Mika's going to want to be outside more often. Because now she's comfortable. Now she's in a neighborhood where she feels safe. And once she wants to start being outside more often, she wants more attention. She wants more of that interaction because now she's safe and she's secure. She's going to start wanting that from Justin. And Justin's going to be like, well, I wasn't behind a wall because I was scared. I'm a real introvert. I really am tired of people. I really don't want to be around people. I wasn't just there because I was scared like you, Mika. It's really who I am. And then I wonder if they'll start clashing. Right? That's why in a lot of ways, you've got to come to a relationship already healed. Because if you come to a relationship unhealed, then the person that you present in the beginning of the relationship is not who you'll be once you're healed. And then once you're healed, you'll be looking at your partner going, dang, you're not the person for me. Well, because you came in the relationship a completely different person. Is Mika coming into this relationship with Justin unhealed, where she's behind her wall and she's scared, but once she gets healed and once she gets herself back, will she want to be outside more often? And then she'll realize, wow, is Justin really the person for me? Because I actually feel comfortable being outside now. I want to be outside, but he really is a real introvert. I don't know. You know who only can answer that question? Mika. Mika, you're the only one that can answer it for you. You're the only one that can answer the question. Another person I got questions for is Patrice. Who's Patrice, y'all? We started talking about it last week when Patrice all of a sudden developed this connection with Chaz. And I was like, what's going on with this connection? Where did this come from? I don't get it. I don't understand it. Okay. And I think I was onto something, though. I think I'm going to combine what I said before when I said that Patrice is a Captain Save-A-Ho. And some of you dropped down in my comments and said, well, why can't it be that Patrice is just an empath? I can go with both. There you go. I can go with both. Because let me tell you, it's two different things. One is an empath and one is what do you do with that? An empath is a feeling. You feel people's hurt. You do this. But what do you do with it? What do you do with it? You could feel it. You could feel it. You could feel it. But then you also have a choice what to do with it. That's what empaths have to learn. Empaths have to learn that once you feel it, you can't always act on it. Because if you always act on it, what can happen is you always are helping other people and you're not helping yourself, and you always get the short end of the stick. So the empath doesn't mean that you also have to be Captain Save-A-Hole. And if you are an empath, you got to learn how to control that. You do. And what I believe, it could be both. It could be that Patrice is an empath, but it also can be what I said, is she's a Captain Save-A-Hole. Because she even said it this episode. She told Alonzo to his face, when Alonzo admitted to her and said, hey, I was feeling a certain kind of way when Chaz was up there and you went up there and you comforted Chaz and you didn't come down with me and eat a crawfish. Who am I? Chopped liver. And Patrice said it out loud. She said, because in that moment, Alonzo didn't need me, but Chaz did. Well, what happens when you are dating a Patrice? Does that mean you always have to be a person that's needy and needs saving and needs help? Because if you are presenting yourself as a strong, capable person, then what Patrice would do is Patrice will continually go out and find other people that need to be saved. So in one way, Patrice says she wants a strong man, but not really. She can't have a strong man, a leader who's ready to be married, because that strong, capable man, what Patrice will look at that man is, he don't need me. He doesn't need me. There are too many other people out here that I'm an empath for, that I feel their pain. I want to go save them. So you got a neglected strong man because you're so empathic that you got to go out and save other people while your man is at home being neglected because you perceive him as being not needing nothing from you. She's going to have to, if she is an empath, I'll give it to you. I'll give it to everybody who says she's an empath. If she's an empath, then she's going to need to learn how to control it, because her being such an empath for everybody out here in the world will destroy her relationships, because everybody needs support and help. Even if it's people who don't always scream it, even if it's people who don't always say it out loud, there's always someone who's needier than you, right? Even if there's always going to be someone. And if Patrice determines where she's setting her attention based on who needs her the most, then she's always going to probably be neglecting her partner, unless her partner is so needy that she gets involved in a toxic relationship. And I also think that's what happens. Patrice is attracted to people who need a lot of help. And that's a damaging place for her. That's a toxic place for her. So she says what she wants in her life, but part of the way that she moves and shakes out here tells me that she's actually doing the opposite. She's not ushering in a person who's independent and strong, because once that person comes into her life, she will not spend much time with them, because she's still going to be off trying to save the world, help the needy people. That's what she's going to be. That's why I said, why did Patrice all of a sudden turn to Chaz? But you know why she all of a sudden turned to Chaz? Because Chaz started to show his vulnerability and his brokenness in this whole process. Remember, Chaz started off as the guy that was strong and capable. Women were looking to go to Chaz to get off of him, to lean on him so that he would be their support. We've learned over the course of time that Chaz is crumbling. He's crumbling. He's crumbling under the pressure. He's crumbling under decision making. He's crumbling in things that's going on in his head. He's showing his weakness, vulnerability. He's showing his cracks. And the minute he starts showing his cracks and vulnerability, and he's crying and he's weeping, all of a sudden now Patrice is like, ooh, I like him. Ooh, I like him. And Alonzo, on the other hand, when he's been trying to step up, when he's been trying to show more maturity, when he's been trying to show that he can be that strong man that Patrice kept saying that she wanted, the more he tried to become that man, the more Patrice started moving away from him. Isn't that ironic? when he was looking at the man fumbling around, when he was the man no one wanted, when he was the man that everybody was talking about, Alonzo this, and he was on the bottom, who was coming to rescue Alonzo every single time and save him? It was Patrice. Patrice was coming to save Alonzo all the time. But now, all of a sudden, Alonzo is becoming stronger. He's growing. He's trying to mature. He ain't there yet. He got a long way to go. But he's showing good movement. He's going good promise. He's doing exactly what Patrice said he wanted. And the more he did that, next thing he knows, he's sitting at the dinner table eating crawfish by himself. And Patrice is over here counseling and cuddling and praying and crying over Chaz. What the hell? This would be your life if you were with Patrice. And so she wants to know, why is she always driving 45 minutes to meet a man? It's not the man, Patrice. It's you. It's your decisions. It's your choices. It's not the man. It's you. It's your decisions. It's your choices. It's what you're attracted to. And until she sees that in herself, she's going to have a tumultuous relationship thing going on back and forth. I keep telling people, the root, when you get our age, these ages these people are 30s and 40s, you're the common denominator at this point. You're the one that's been in all these relationships. It's been different people, but you're the common denominator. Once you start getting in your 30s and your 40s and you're having recurring problems, you got to stop looking at the other people. The men got to stop looking at the women, and the women got to stop looking at the men. You got to look at yourself. You are the common denominator. Fix yourself. Once you fix yourself, you won't be attracted to that anymore. Or even if you're attracted to it, you'll notice it, you'll see it, and you'll choose differently. Patrice is over here thinking she wants to choose differently between Alonzo and Chaz. She says she feels butterflies with Alonzo. He gives her butterflies. But Chaz, I'm trying to choose differently. I used to choose the Alonzos all the time. The brokenness, the immaturity, someone who needs a mother, someone that needs me to be an empath for them. She says she's tired of that. She wants to choose the Chazes of the world. But the truth of the matter is, she actually ain't choosing anything differently. She thinks she is, because she thinks the difference is the fact that Chaz has money. But emotionally, Chaz is just as broken, if not more, than Alonzo is. She's thinking that the money, the security that Chaz brings is actually a whole different person, and it's not. She's still attracted to the same thing. She's attracted to the woundedness in Chaz. Even Chaz has admitted his woundedness, and she's attracted to it. She's a Captain Save-A-Ho. She is a Captain Save-A-Ho, and that can be true with an empath. It can be true with an empath. If she want to stop it, she's going to have to stop it. And like I said, this is the purpose of having a village. It is the purpose of having someone around you that knows you, can say, I know what you're saying, Patrice, but I see the same thing. That brother of Patrice's, I like him. That MMA fighter, I liked him. He's mentally tough. I can see it. She needs to use him more often. He sees through things. He was able to get to a lot of what these men were. I liked him a lot. Instead of her saying she doesn't introduce people to her family, maybe she don't want to introduce them to her mom. There's hierarchies in families. There's hierarchies. Pick someone, ladies. And I think Patrice needs to pick that brother. What was his name? Emmanuel. I liked him. I liked him a lot. Who's Patrice gonna choose? Chaz or Alonzo? I don't even know, y'all. Who would you guess she's going to choose, Chaz or Alonzo? Something tells me she's going to choose Alonzo. She's going to go with the butterflies. That's what I'm thinking. I think she's going to go with the butterflies. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know. I could be wrong. Either way, I don't think it's going to last. Because I think Patrice has a whole lot more healing. I think everybody focused on Alonzo when it was between Alonzo and Patrice. A lot of people focused on what was wrong with Alonzo. But to be honest with you, Patrice's issues are a lot more deeply rooted, because Alonzo's issues are really more about just like his behavior. Like, he needs to mature. But Patrice's issues are more ingrained they're going to be harder to correct, because you can always already see the growth with Alonzo even in this season, right? You can already see some of his growth. But Patrice, on the other hand, she's still solely focused on it's the men. See, Alonzo accepted responsibility that he needed to mature, he needed to get better, so he started working on it. Patrice, on the other hand, is still stuck on that she's not actually an issue in the relationship, that the issue is the other man. So she hasn't even begun her work. She hasn't begun her work. And like I said, if you haven't begun your work, you don't know who you're going to be after your work is done. And once your work is done or almost done, will you then, in this new healed state, still choose that same partner? So actually, I think that Patrice, to be honest with y'all, I think Patrice actually has more work to do than Alonzo does. And Patrice is older, which means the work is going to be harder, because it means she's been doing this longer. She's been doing this for a lot longer in her life. So her habits may be harder to break than Alonzo's. So she actually, to me, she has more work to do than Alonzo. I've been saying it from the very beginning that people really were extra hard on Alonzo. And come to find out, Patrice was flying under the radar. Well, she ain't under the radar no more. Not at all. Talk about somebody who's fully above the radar. That's Chaz. Chaz. Stem to stem, Chaz. I know that you're a data analytics engineer. You love some data. I work with data analytics engineers, and they love data. Can't get enough of it. Typically, sometimes data analytics engineers, y'all want too much data. It's time to move. It's time to act. It's time to move forward. Chaz, you know the bell curve. Chaz. You know that we get 90% right here. We got another 5% on this side. We got a 9% on this side, standard deviation. We know the cost, Chaz, of perfection. It's high. What you do, Chaz, is you set up your KPIs. You set up what you want to look for. You do the best you can with the data you have, but in the end, you got to pull the trigger. You got to make a decision. You got to go left or right, up or down. You got to pull the trigger. And then what you do is you come up with contingency plans, right? I'm going to plan for 90%, Chaz, but things may go wrong. There may be another 10% over here where something may go wrong. And all I need is a contingency plan. Chaz, don't be afraid of the 90% decision. Just have you a contingency plan. That's all. Don't worry about not making mistakes. Don't worry about making the wrong decision. Just be sure you got a good contingency plan. And if you want, you can have more than one contingency plan. You can have an A and you can have a B. You can have as many as you want, Chaz, but don't let what could possibly go wrong keep you from the 90%. Okay? Sometimes it's even 80%. I want to see Chaz happy. I do, but I see a lot of torment in Chaz's life. When I heard that Chaz doesn't talk to any of his brothers, he doesn't have a close relationship with his brothers, that was further indication that Chaz gets stuck in places. See, when you aren't able to form relationships with people, okay, and you say, well, I have close relationship with friends and not family, that's okay, because you know what? Family ain't always your good friends. I get it. I can see I don't get along with this sibling or that sibling or this person or that person. I don't have a requirement that people get along with everyone in their family, but I do feel it's a concern, just like Patrice's brother Emmanuel said, was then when you don't have any type of relationship with any of them, not too much so. We see one of them is going to come next week for family ties. I'm happy to see that. I think we're going to learn more. But I think the part that Chaz gets stuck on, that we see it in relationship, he also gets stuck in it with friendships, and that is resolving issues. He's real good at identifying the issues, okay? Because he's a data analytics engineer. He can see the issues. He can see the problems. He can see the bugs. He can see the red flags. He can see it all. But where he gets stuck is he doesn't know how to resolve them or move past them, or in some places even accept them. That's where he gets stuck. He gets stuck in the data. The data is inconclusive. No, it's conclusive. It's 80% right. It may not be concrete. It may not be perfect, but you got enough information. You got enough information on Vanessa. But what he's seeing is there's some things about Vanessa I don't like. And so therefore I don't want to move forward with Vanessa. He's still over here saying sweet nothings to Vanessa's ear when he's with Vanessa. Hold my hand. You the woman I want. I'm all in with you. And then off camera, when he's doing his confessionals and everywhere else, he's actually speaking the real truth. And he's talking about that other part that he ain't sure with Vanessa. He's saying one thing over here and he's saying another thing over here. And you might say, well, that's talking about two sides of your mouth. Not really. It's still part of the data. The data is both. The data is the good and the bad. He just chooses what to talk to you about. He talks to you about the good data, but then over here he goes, yeah, but it's this bad data over here, and I'm going to talk about it over there. He gets stuck in analysis paralysis. Somebody said that last week or the week before. Analysis paralysis, that's where he's stuck in. I meet him every day in the engineering world. Stuck in analysis paralysis, always wants more data. We can't move forward, no implementation plan, because they always want to run some new data, slice and dice it. Put it in different tables, different metrics, different charts, different things. Don't bring me another doggone table because it's time for us to move. You see, I'm the engineer of implementation, Chaz. I'm the engineer of implementation. I'm the one that says it's time to move forward. It's time for change. I'm typically having to bridge you, the data analytics engineers, along with the people who are actually going to implement the change and getting you both ready to go. Sometimes the holdup is the data analytics engineers because they still want more data. They're still telling me not yet. We don't want to move yet. We don't move forward. We still need some more data. Sometimes I got to tell the data analytics engineer, no, we got enough doggone data. We don't need any more data. It's time to move. It's time to move forward. And that's what I'm going to say to Chaz. Chaz, the data gathering is over. It's time to move forward. Chaz, you need to put some timelines on yourself. You need to put some project timelines to your data gathering. We can't stay in data gathering forever. We got to move forward to action. Chaz said he got a connection with 10 of the 10 women, 10 of the 11 women. Where is the 11th woman? She must not be in the process. There must be another woman somewhere else. Chaz. He said, I don't want to eliminate no one. I want to have all these possibilities. All of them. No. He don't want to narrow the list down or nothing. He wants them all to stay up there, and he still wants to gather more data on all of them. Poor Chaz. His brain, that's why he couldn't handle it. That's why, y'all, I'm telling you, that's why he was crumbling last week. Because can you imagine a computer in Chaz's head? He's gathering all this data. There's smoke coming from that computer. It ain't got enough memory. It ain't got enough RAM. It ain't got enough processing power. It's data overload. He's like, I need a bigger hard drive. I need a higher processing capabilities because I need to gather more data. Chaz is out there asking his company, we need 5 terabytes. Because I got to store all this data. I got to be able to parse this data, run this data. Let me tell you, these SQL database programs is taking too long to run. I see you, Chaz. I see you. Just had to have the whole conversation with people at my work. Why are these SQL database programs running so long, data analytics engineer? Why is it taking so long to run these programs? It's slowing up my production lines. You know what the data analytics told me? Because we keeping data in the system for 4 years. Why we need 4-year-old data? We may need it one day. No, you want me to keep 4-year-old data. I'm slowing down the current process in the production line because you want 4-year-old data that's slowing down the current work. Clean out that damn data analytics engineers. I just had a whole meeting on it, Chaz. I just had a whole meeting on it, so I know where you are. You need to clean out your database. You got too much up in there. Clean it out. Too much. The old data is slowing you down. You're not able to make decisions where you are now. You're not agile enough. You're not quick enough. You can't respond to the current environment because you're too busy holding on to old data. All this data on 10 different women. What a mess, Chaz. What a mess. I'm not going to talk about Vanessa because I talked about her enough, and her sister said it all. He ain't for you. He ain't for you. He don't like you. He ain't sold on you. Move on. That's what I'm going to say to Vanessa. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about her because I did a whole video on her, and y'all can do it here, and I'm done talking about it. But I want to say ditto to what the sister said. He ain't for you. He don't want you. He's got data on you. He ain't sold on you. None of it. Move on. I don't care what happened. I don't care what he's told you. I don't care about nothing else. I see what I see. I know what I know. I'm with that sister. What was her name? I don't know what her name was. Gwen or something like that. I forget what her name was. But I'm with you, Gwen. If that's her name. I'm with you. And I hope Vanessa, in fact, Vanessa ought to self-eliminate. I hope she told her that too. Self-eliminate, Vanessa. Just go on and pack your bags and go home. Call it an L. Call it a loss. Move on with your life. Anyway, that's it, y'all. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
You can run, but you can't hide.